Hello, everybody. What's new and exciting? Welcome back to Miss Belinda Services. As promised, this is the second part to my other video on checking in to see how we're all doing. And in this video, I am going to highlight some strategies that we can use to support our mindfulness, relaxation, and self regulation practices. I'm going to touch on 5 of these. The goal here is to ascertain that as much as there might be a lot out of our control, these are practices that we can do to keep ourselves regulated and in a state to handle the things that might seem overwhelming or out of our control. So, the first one is yoga. Yoga is a practice that helps align and bring the mind and the body in sync. Some people perceive this as a mental and spiritual practice, and it's a practice that helps discipline the mind and the body. And it uses 3 components to do this. It uses breathing, it uses posture, and it also uses meditation. So the goal here is to help us learn how to pay attention, how to focus, how to stay in a calm mind, and how to stay present. So it has other health benefits, that include becoming more flexible, having better balance, better posture, muscle tone. It improves pain, it improves poor digestion, and it also decreases blood pressure. Now, the practice of yoga is so extensive. I'm just introducing or reintroducing it as part of the 5 practices, but I encourage you to explore that further. The second practice is meditation. And meditation is a practice that uses the techniques of mindfulness and focus. So, focus on maybe an object, a thought, or an action, and it helps to train us with attention and awareness with the purpose of also achieving mental clarity and a calm emotional state. Now, YouTube and other apps are so strife with meditation. I encourage you to explore that as well. I personally use the Calm app. Others use Headspace, and there are so many other apps out there. I use guided meditation because it helps me become more aware of maybe my breathing, my posture, maybe my thought processes, and it could be in as little as 5-10 minutes to more. So, another practice that you could add to your toolbox of practices. Thirdly, I want to talk about breath work. Now, breath work is the practice of using breathing exercises to change the pattern of our breathing. In most situations of anxiety or panic, the first thing that most people notice is I can't breathe, or that they begin to feel panic, heart rate goes up. So breathing and breath work is great to kind of help us stay calm and be in the present. It does definitely increase the mind body connection. It definitely increases relaxation. It improves alertness. It increases emotional clarity, which we need in order to react or respond appropriately and effectively. And it also decreases blood pressure. Now, 3 breathing exercises that I usually use for children, teens, and even adults. I'm going to try and break that down. The first one is the starfish breathing. Basically, we're breathing along the hand and the palm. So we're going to try to breathe from the base of the thumb to the base of the pinky. And what this does is it helps you to focus on an object, as I mentioned. You can use your pinky or you can do that imaginary. And then you inhale and exhale along each finger. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale till you get to the base. This is a great tool for kids because it helps them distract from whatever might be overwhelming and chaotic and focus on an activity, an object, and it then also helps bring awareness to the breathing and then helps calm them down. The second breathing is a square breathing, or others call it 4x4x4, and this is breathing along a square. Now, it's also a great tool to use at work and classrooms because we have access to squares everywhere. So most people can do this without anyone else knowing that they are practicing the square breathing, because with an access to a square, whether it's a sheet of paper, a poster on a wall, or a box of tissue, whatever it is, the goal is inhale along one angle, hold your breath, exhale, hold your breath, and do it about 4 times. So for example, we go inhale, hold, exhale, and hold. And we do that 4 times. Square breathing is amazing. And if you practice that with me, you can already sense that your nervous system state just begins to go in a calm space. The third one is the diaphragmatic breathing. And this is also very famous among kids because they get to lay on their backs and then they get to pretend that their bellies are balloons. So we're going to take in a deep breath, inhale, and then we're going to make sure that we extend our bellies because that's where the air is going. And then to exhale, we deflate that. Most people taking deep breaths and hold it in their chest, but this is taking a deep breath and hold it in the belly. So you're taking a deep breath and extend the belly. And then you exhale and you deflate that, and you do that a couple of times. This is great for kids, assuming they were throwing a tantrum and they were laying on the floor, and this is perfect. Try doing these practices before there's a crisis so that it's easily accessible. All right, so those are the 3 practices under breath work. Grounding technique is another great way, and grounding techniques basically uses our 5 senses to bring us into the present, as in the here and now. So for most maybe teens or even adults who might find themselves in an anxious state, feeling overwhelmed or panicking, oh, there's too many people in a crowd, you can ground yourself by using your 5 senses. What that basically means is identify 5 things that maybe you see, 4 things that maybe you hear, 3 things that maybe you can smell or touch, 2 things that you can touch or smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. So basically, no rhyme or reason, slowly pace yourself. 5 things that I can see. Just use the 5 senses to identify objects and taste, smells, and sounds around you so that can bring you down into the present. Other grounding techniques include maybe coloring, which I'm a great fan of, or journaling, calligraphy, or just doodling. All these things bring you down into the present. Then finally, self-regulation. Self-regulation practices, unlike the other 4 that I've mentioned, the other 4 are practices that you do almost like externally outside of your body. Self-regulation calls attention to what might be going on inside your body. So this, I believe, is a cherry on top of the icing, on top of the cake. If you pay attention to where you have any pressures in your body or where you're feeling tense, you're able to release it throughout the day and keep constantly keeping your body in a parasympathetic nervous system state, which is calm, as opposed to a sympathetic nervous system, which is hyper-aroused, anxious, fight or flight. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get ourselves into a calm state. So 3 exercises there. 1 is the wet noodle, which is a body scan to see where you might be feeling pressure, and then using almost like a progressive muscle relaxation to tense the muscle where you feel the pressure and then release. For most people who are sitting behind a desk, it could be your shoulders. You bunch it up and then you release. So that's just an example of the wet noodle. And then we have the progressive muscle relaxation, which is basically progressively tensing different muscle pads. You can start from the bottom of your feet all the way up to the top and releasing. This is great for sleep, for people who might be struggling with sleep. A practice like that pulls your attention to an activity, and it does decrease anxiety thoughts out of your mind so you can focus on an activity. And then there's the pelvic muscle relaxation, which is basically doing Kegels. You hold the muscles and for 5 seconds, release, taking a deep breath, and then release. And I'm talking about the pelvic floor muscles. So almost like what you do when you have to stop peeing. Yes, when you hold your pee, that's the pelvic muscles. You hold it for 5 seconds, release it, taking a deep breath, and then slowly let it down. I hope that was helpful. Once again, if you have any questions, reach out, missbelindaservices@gmail.com, missbelindaservices.com. Thank you, and I hope you stay well. I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.